Hello to all. I am Teresa GARCIA, RIVERA. I work around the world from my Institute CIRSE based in Paris, France. I am going to talk to you today about a very precise and simple model that will help you and any person using communication as a professional tool. This to unlock in a 5-step brain your client's experience and detect the door you can open to bring about change. First of all, I wanted to say how honored and happy I am being here within this very bright, agile, and transformative community. I like innovation, which is for me continuity and disruption. First, I am going to present myself, my school of thought. I will talk about how my model was built, and I will give a quick idea about how this model can work for you. My institute is named after the Greek magician Circe. She kept safe the secrets of transformation in her island, only to be found by Ulysses in his years-long journey. But Circe is also the center for intervention and research on change and the evolution of human systems. Research is at the center of my preoccupations and the worry of my training school participants, since I am continuously in mode R&D, research and development. In this sense, I am a member of the New York Academy of Science since the 1980s. I trained at the Mental Research Institute of Palo Alto in the 1980s too. I stayed there for 5 years and in close contact with the Institute for as long as my teachers were there. Now the ties are being tightened again through the LACTS research, in which I participate as a research director, where we are trying to obtain data concerning different important issues in brief therapy, brief interventions in businesses, and models alike. Important data as who is consulting us, for what problems, what do we do, and with which results is collected every day with this research. As for my subsequent trainings after the MRI, I have been indeed learning anything that sounded more or less effective or efficient for 3 months each year at least, and I've gotten an incredible amount of practical and theoretical information in these past 35 years, working in more than 3,000 situations. Always fascinated since childhood by the interpersonal influence and later on by the structures that shape us through a systemic and cybernetic thinking. My method, PEARLsystem, is a slow distillation of worldviews and techniques to bring about rapid change. It is in congruence and disruption from the MRI Palo Alto model, both congruence and disruption together being a paradox. So important to my dear professors Paul, Dick, and John, talking about Václavic, Fish, and Wiglet. For decades, maybe centuries, the main ideas concerning human change are conscious volition, the will, and to be able to use it, you needed to be conscious of your problems. Psychoanalysis used physics and mythology, metaphors like that of energy, eros, and thanatos, and repression, and verbalizing them brought about change. Even if Freud considered real change to be impossible, at least it alleviated from symptoms, and alleviating symptoms was possible if you made the unconscious conscious. Other methods demand your conscious understanding of what is going on underneath to be able to heal you. Some use awareness of the here and now, others the body to open up knots. Systemic family therapy is related to the idea of underneath with family legacy, power distribution, and loyalties, and then came the cybernetic therapies, with the extraordinary idea of attempted solutions as being vital in creating sustainable problems and being the perfect complexity reducer to work with complex systems. Or solution-focused, IOS, or appreciative inquiry in its business version, where exceptions are used to bring in new situations or repeat solution behaviors and mindsets. Of course, there are also people like Milton Erickson who masterfully revolutionized for us all the way we bring about change. There's hypnosis and EMDR. Then I traveled for Chinese medicine and philosophy like the I Ching, energetic techniques like EFT, complexity capabilities, and some new models as design thinking or pattern dynamics. Today I'm exploring the new theory. I was playing with all these when the idea struck me that everyone was talking about changing one experience into another. I live this situation every day, or I live it over and over and I experience it in a certain way. It's painful. It makes me feel stuck, out of control, and it's non-productive. And I would like to change this meaning to live another experience, meaning I will not be in the same situation again, or I will live this thing in total different way. So the first question was, what is an experience? After much thought and practice, I came to the conclusion that I needed to describe experience as a process, and a systemic and cybernetic one, like MRIs. More of attempt-up solutions, more of the problem, less of attempt-up solutions, less of a problem. And it had to have an information basis, like in Bateson's The Different That Makes a Difference. It also had to be clear to almost all professionals and simple, like a child could understand it. This sounded right to me also, as the number one struggle of my trainees and supervised professionals was to consistently be clear with their client about what exactly was the experience they were having trouble with, or what was the experience that was triggering suffering, overwhelm, or creating symptoms, and also what to change it into, what other experience, or to make more of, as in solution-focused methods. I also wanted it to be able to be of help to couples, families, teams, businesses, institutions, whether it's the structure, the teams themselves, and the organization. So framing experience into a 5-step frame permit the model to be simple, and I hope it will be powerful for you too. An experience is a perception, an emotion, an action, a relationship, and then the lesson and logic of the situation. It just couldn't be linear, as no human experience is linear. The lessons we learn will obviously lead us to perceive things in a different way, like Einstein's statement about theories letting us perceive or not certain phenomena. PEARLsystem permits us not to be stuck neither in cause-effect linear thinking, neither in reality issues, as our actions reflect our perception emotion and not reality. And our perception doesn't depend on reality, but on lessons learned, mental models, the logics we have defined through our experience. Each step, PEARL, has a great number of techniques for questioning and intervening to unblock situations at the level needed the most. Let's take an example concerning a couple. And this is not an example of a session, but the analysis of a session. Tanya's perception of the problem is not clear, as her first statement in therapy is, "He's cheating on me, I'm not respected, he doesn't care about me, he's selfish." Paul's perception of the problem isn't clear either, as in therapy he states she's always exaggerating, strong malice, controlling, want me to be her servant. The therapist will need to go back to perception using several techniques. Then it will become clear that Tanya's perception is he smiles, discusses, and dances very close with other women in an ambiguous way. The lesson also she learned by that it seems to me he desires them more than me, especially since he doesn't act sexy with me anymore. Another perception. Paul's perception is Tanya screams and talks rapidly, confusingly when she comes to me about I talking or interacting with young pretty women. The logic, I feel like she wants to be my mother. She isn't attractive to me anymore, as she's always acting like this. Tanya, exploring further in her experience, would be something like, he doesn't care about me, and that makes her feel insecurity, sadness, and fear. Paul's emotions to his perception are anger and wanting to escape her grip, looking for fun and light experiences. During the content session, obviously, the perception of each other begins to be transformed. He can listen and see somebody that is vulnerable and suffering. She can see somebody that's feeling jailed. The actions here can be changed into Paul becoming protective of her or wanting to be by her side. She wants him close and securing her, and he can't. He's feeling jailed. Changing her actions to showing him her vulnerability is so different from being on his case trying to control his behavior. The relationship changes from her one up hammering and he one down flirting to a more symmetrical relationship on needs and wants. stabilization will need to pass by a complementary relation where he takes care of her, being vulnerable, and she lets him take care of her. Then the logic changes from he cheated to he can reassure me, and changes from she's controlling to she's afraid. This can be used all the way to business as CEO, where situations aren't perceived and analyzed, but are acted upon, resolved through the logical lessons, which are mostly more of the same. Typically in situations where the planning and the execution are paired together. As your plan is perfect, then execution isn't following because orders aren't well given, people are stupid or lazy, or human resources didn't hire well. Or the organization is incapable to structure workers' actions in a way where the result is performance. This type of thinking, without getting into what is our perception, emotions, and everyday actions, will only lead to logical solutions that are so emotional. My conclusion here is a tweetable. You inevitably run into what you dread the most when you do not PEARL your system. Thank you so much, and visit me at Circe, www.circe-mri.com. Thank you so much, and here goes the questions.